Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bill. Joining me this weekend, Senor Stuffy is back. Harry Austin is taking the week off. Senor Stuffy is here to fill in for Harry. We might have a third chair here in just a few minutes. I don't know. That is unconfirmed, but we are working on getting a third chair potentially. Welcome on in, everybody. It has been a big 2 weeks. Earl and I didn't get to talk last week on the podcast. We've been talking throughout the week on text, and massive week for New Mexico United, especially as we head into the final weekend of the regular season. We've got a lot to get to, ladies and gentlemen. Again, final week of the regular season is upon us. New Mexico United has a chance to make the playoffs still. New Mexico Runners are right around the corner, guys. We've got so much going on here. But before we get into all of that, I mean, Earl, you're back. You're dealing with some illness, you and your family. Fill us in. How is everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? And are you up for the challenge of filling in the shoes of Harry Austin?
So let's play this one backwards. Last time I took a week off, we had to find 2 people, and the place was burnt down.
That is very true. We'd have to see people come on last time you were out.
So I stopped taking time off. Last week I had to take time off because for the first time in 4 years, the vid finally found me. Changed my address a couple times, and he finally found me. So I was under the weather. Then I decided to infect Marlena with my disease. So she got diseased with the vid too.
That is not a euphemism, folks.
No, that's not for another couple weeks when we get our house. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. But other than that, I mean, besides the burning lungs, the flaming nostrils, and the nagging cough, I mean, I think we're fine.
Yeah. Oh, good to hear. Yeah, it was quite interesting. And we've discussed it on the show. We obviously talked to you throughout the past couple of years about coronavirus and how it affected everyone. You know, Jacob and his wife came down with it. I had it at one point. My son had, one of my sons had it. My other son didn't. So, I mean, the fact that you've now gotten it 4 years after it hit the scene, I mean, it's quite amazing that it took you that long. But we are glad to hear that you and Marlena and Maya are all doing well. Glad to have you back on the show.
Maya didn't get it, thank God.
Yeah, that's fortunate. Yeah, that is fortunate that she didn't. We've known that it can be rough on folks as they get it. So, also a big week for you from a more personal standpoint. Your Final Fantasy team finally picked up a win.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I would have loved to have this first win happen 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. Not when I was playing my fiance.
Yeah.
But it would also have been nice to get this win when I wasn't also mourning the death of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and so this is something that I did want to ask you about, Earl. Obviously, the Monday morning overreaction has spread like wildfire. Some folks have said that Dak is done. I've never particularly been a huge fan of Dak and the way he plays. I don't necessarily think he's as good as some people think he does. I mean, and that was one of the big things that popped up around social media and the shows, this morning and this afternoon and yesterday afternoon, or I should say yesterday. How is your season outlook? I mean, obviously the 49ers are one of the best teams in the league. They played like it on Sunday. Dallas Cowboys, not so much.
I mean, Dallas is going to play like Dallas. They're going to play good 1 week. They're going to play trash the next. They're going to play trash the week after that. And then they'll play good. My personal opinion is Dak is trash. I've never liked him. Except for the first couple years. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. And I do want to give a shout out to a massive like on our Facebook page right now. Over on the United Nation, we do have New Mexico United owner, Peter Trevisani liking our post for the day.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Pete, for the support. We do appreciate that. Earl, is it Trey Lance time in Dallas?
I would have been happy to see Trey Lance this past weekend.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I mean, you weren't here last week. Again, we mentioned you were out sick with coronavirus. Harry stepped in. We talked a little WWE. We talked a little wrestling. Obviously, Fastlane happened over the weekend, and Adam Copeland made his debut in AEW. A lot of things going on. New tag champions. What are your thoughts? Is WWE heading in the right direction with the new tag champs? Is Seth Rollins somehow never going to lose his belt again? Will Roman Reigns ever return to the ring?
Roman will be back this coming Friday, which is going to be interesting because Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso just lost.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see that. Cody will lose his belt probably to Drew McIntyre, I'm thinking.
All right.
And then Drew McIntyre will get cashed in on by
Damian.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
Yeah.
As for the tag champs, I can honestly say I did not expect it. But I'm obviously a huge Cody Rhodes fan, as are you.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing Cody Rhodes hold any kind of title makes me happy.
Yep.
I like seeing it with Jey Uso, because now Cody Rhodes is now feeling a little bit Usi.
Yeah, and I've mentioned before, I do actually know Cody. I've met him, grew up around him, so met Cody and Dusty and Dustin. So yeah, super happy to see Cody pick up some gold finally in WWE.
And if you watch the press conference, those two were trash. It was pretty funny.
They had some fun with that. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a big weekend in sports. Up and down. I mean, it doesn't matter what you watch every weekend. A lot of entertaining things. I did tell you guys a bit of a personal note. I did tell you guys last week. We've talked about a little bit on the show. I am now employed again. I have a new job starting on Monday. So excited for that. A little bit of personal news. Nothing changes for the show. We will still be here every Tuesday night. As long as United is going, then we will be doing content throughout the off season. So, yeah, it's been a busy week for us here personally. Busy week for New Mexico United, and we'll go ahead. I mean, we'll just jump right into it. Saturday night out in Phoenix, New Mexico United decided to go out and play probably one of the best games we've seen out of them all season long. Thank you so much, Shane. Do appreciate that. It's incredible that it took this long. I mean, even if you look at Memphis, we played very well against Memphis. I mean, obviously the red cards popped up. That became an issue in that match. But here against Phoenix, I mean, we look good. This is what we've been looking for all season long. And, here early on, you see that shot from near midfield from Zico Bailey, forcing Rocco Rios Nova, a young goalkeeper I absolutely love. I think he's phenomenal. Forcing a save out of him here early on. And this really kind of set the tone for United throughout the night. They weren't afraid to take shots. They weren't afraid to run at Phoenix. And I think that made all the difference in this. You saw the pressure throughout the game. And I mean, Andrew Thomas had a great game. There's a number of guys that you can point out as having great games in this, but this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you saw right there, Andrew Thomas stood on his freaking head and did handstands all night. I do want to point out one thing.
What's that?
As to probably why we played so good and so much attack was we did not have one Schneider board again.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Obviously, Borgelin on the red card from the Lou City from the Lou City match. Sorry, I'm thinking ahead already. But you throw Greg Hurst in there, a guy who also has not had much contribution all season. did Greg Hurst make that big of a difference over Schneider Borgelin, or was there something else that paid off here for New Mexico United?
I say yes. Greg Hurst did play that much of a difference. I mean, yeah, when you look at it, apples to apples, they have like similarities. They play like football, like soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But Hurst tries to put himself in the position. Hurst actually plays the part to draw the defenders towards him because they know he can score. They know he's not going to take stupid half-ass shots. He's going to actually take a chance. If he gets it, he's going to take it. That's not what Schneider does. I mean, yeah, he got credit with an assist with, I think it was with Lou City. But the ball literally rolled off of his foot on accident because he couldn't control it into the waiting feet of, I think it was Sergio Rivas at the time. Or maybe it was Harry.
It was Harry.
It was Harry. But yeah, so I mean that's what happened there. Schneider lost the ball, and Harry just happened to be in the right spot, right time, right place, right time, to be able to score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Is yeah, even though they play similar style soccer, Hursty draws defenders away from the ball to create one-on-one positions.
I mean, to be fair, we've seen Borgelin do that as well. And I think you can make the argument here in this match that Greg Hurst really didn't have an impact on this match. Like, yeah, he was there, but you look at what did he contribute here? It's Amando Moreno and Justin Portillo, and yes, Greg Hurst draws the foul. That gets the penalty. And don't get me wrong, great run by Greg Hurst. I think it was a great run. And it was just a silly foul by the rising defender. But it's outside of that, Hursty's contributions to this game kind of negligible, if you ask me. I think this is more on the play of Amando Moreno and Zico Bailey than anybody else.
And yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, Amando played his lights out. Zico's Zico. At this point, if we don't re-sign Zico to an extension, we're making a huge mistake.
Oh, I think so too. I was talking to someone at the club about this the other day. Like, of everyone we've signed, I think Zico Bailey is at the top of my list of guys that I want back next season. Like,
100%.
Him and Nicky. I mean, honestly, you could probably put Nicky 1A, 1B on that list. But Zico has been absolutely incredible. You see the effort he puts in and night out, and you see the difference that he makes, whether it's out of the midfield or out of that back line. I mean, Zico's phenomenal. He really is. Like, he's such a talented player. Like, I really want to see him come back in the spring.
Yeah, 100%. But going back to the whole Hursty thing, my thing is Hurst wants the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Hurst wants to make a play. He just can't. Schneider doesn't want the ball, and he gets the ball at his foot, and then he can't. So it's a matter of how you want it. Like, you want the ball, but you can't, or you don't want it because you're lazy, and you still get fed the ball, but you can't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still waiting for a David Carl prediction to actually come true.
If you're in the chat or you're listening, if you don't remember, a few weeks back, David Weese-Carl did make a prediction that Schneider Borgelin would score a difference-making goal for New Mexico United. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. There is still, this week against Memphis, and then whatever happens, beyond that, for him to have that opportunity. But I mean, I don't think it's a lack of want for the ball. I think a lot of it comes down to again, what we talked about all season, lack of service, for the forwards. You look and you see, these 2 goals that we scored here. The first goal, and we'll back it up here in just a minute. And Sam shithousing there. Yeah, just a lot of fouls in this match. Like this was.
So here's my thing. I'm not a fan of time wasting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. It never plays out good for any team that winds up doing it. But the time wasting from Andrew Thomas is phenomenal.
Yeah. So you watch this play right here. You watch Harry and Arturo Astorga stand up Mohamed Traore here on the wing, and just the play by the Astorga's like we haven't even talked about yet. Like he's the guy that I want to see him back next year too. And you watch it, they stand him up, they force that error out of Traore, and then this is all Amando. This is all Amando reading that pass, watching that lane, and this is absolutely when playing it out of the back goes wrong. And they were certainly tagged.
See, but here's the thing with that play, and I'm not taking any credit away from Amando because Amando scored. Cool. If you watch this play right here on this replay, right there alone, Hurst shuts down a key player of that play.
Yeah, he'll go like, we'll show you guys what Earl's talking about. So you watch Hursty right here, and he cuts off this passing lane right here to this defender.
So he kind of is forced to make that pass across the pitch.
Yeah.
So, and that's something we don't see Schneider do.
Yeah, so going back, let's look at this. So you watch this develop here, you watch the pass out. Look how many United shirts there are. And we're going to get rid of that here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 United shirts. By the time this pass is played, there may even be a 7th, but you see it all in this one quadrant of the field. And you look at the passing, you look at how little room, how little space Phoenix Rising had. And this is the kind of press that we used to see, that we would kind of float in and out of and was kind of effective at times. But this right here, it shuts down because you have the 2 Rising players come together, Traore and this, and I don't remember who this was, but they come together right here. There's nowhere for them to go there. They're both shut
Wasn't
down.
That Fuenmeister, whatever his name is?
Fuenmayor, possibly.
Fuenmayor.
I'd have to look at it and see. Well, we'll speed it up here and just take a look. See, they kind of come together. There's no pass open of air. You got Zico covering here. You've got Sergio covering here. You've got Hursty covering here. And you got Amando here in the middle. You got 6 United players.
See, and I want to say, if you leave it on this frame for 2 more seconds, if we have Schneider in there, Schneider is probably hanging out over here by the ref or already at midfield.
I mean, possibly, but I would hope that with Coach Quill putting in this style of press, you would hope that Borjan would do what Hursty is doing here and pull this position, or at least be in the attack in Rising's defensive third here for the chance of making a play. Because like you said, Astorga and Swartz just stand them up here, and there's just nowhere for Rising to go. And yeah, absolutely terrible pass by Mohamed Traore there. And again, you see as it advances, Hurst, he's just there. He's just there in between. I mean, and again, part of it's that, and maybe it is because Borgelin is still a young kid. He's 21, I think we said last week. He's a young kid. He's still learning. And so, maybe it's almost a lack of experience. And, we were talking about this last week, Harry and I were, Next Pro is not at the level of the USL Championship. So the fact that he did so well at that level, I mean, maybe it's accurate. Maybe he was that much better than that level of competition, and he is having to adjust to USL level talent. But yeah, you just look at this here, and you see the movements. I mean, he might have had the outlet pass here, but then you've got Zico and Sergio right here, and Sergio's in between the center back, and you've got Amando just waiting. Like you see Amando's engaged. He's turned. He's looking at that ball. whether or not he actually I'm assuming he knows that this defender is here behind him. But the fact that he just steps in and reads that, like, great play, Amando, great play by Harry and Astorga to cut off the outlet there. Great job by Hursty. I mean, it's really the positioning all around worked here fantastically. And it's something that we really haven't seen a lot of, at least not be this effective.
Yeah, I mean, this past match, we definitely played lights out. We definitely played like our season depended on it. And I wish we would have saw this kind of play a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I think we're in a better position with this 2 months ago than we are with this two matches left in the season.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is what we've been clamoring for all season. Like you see assertiveness, you see aggressiveness, you see quality passes. And now I know Rising fans got really pissed off about this match. They felt like they weren't getting the home field calls. But I mean, in all honesty, this ref lost control of this match. I mean, there were 12 yellow. It was bad from the start, but I mean, there were 12 yellow cards in the second half of this match, counting the one showed to Mac. Like 12 yellow cards.
Is that who got it was Mac?
I'm fairly certain it was Mac. Like, it wasn't listed on the website, but you could see him go over. It was either him or Coach Stanford, one of the two, but because that's where he was, directing it at on the bench there. But yeah, I mean, this was a very, very testy match. Obviously, anytime United and Rising get together, it is. And, if you listen to the broadcast, you could hear some of the Rising supporters, not very happy with the way things were going down. And, you just look at the defensive shape here, especially in the second half. I mean, here it's a very small moment here, and I'll back it up here just a little bit. But you watch this ball in. Look at the yellow shirts. You've got 8 yellow shirts within 12 yards right here compared to 4 Rising players. And then you've got Andy Thomas here in goal. Like, another thing that really impressed me was how compact we played, particularly in the second half. And you see a lot of teams tend to lose shape as they get lax, and they play into the match, and the later it gets, guys tend to drift. That didn't happen. I mean, I encourage you to go back, watch the second half of this match, watch how compact our defense stays, watch how contained they are. And
our defense second half looked incredible. I'm kind of surprised we gave one up, but I mean, the one that went in, I mean, Andrew Thomas went low, he went high. So, I mean, it's life. But regardless of that, every time that we would turn the ball over or make an errant pass, we were right back on it. We didn't sit on the bad pass and let that defeat us.
Yeah, this yellow here for Amanda was just silly. Like, I mean, absolute sell job by Stenberg, I think is who it was. I mean, yes,
he was waiting for it.
Oh, he was. And yeah, you kind of see the arm go up, but yeah, I mean, you watch this run here by Hurst. Like, this is probably the best run I've seen out of him all season. And I know some people were complaining about this call here, but I mean, there's no attempt to play the ball. He goes in, he clearly gets Hurst. And so you had a question about whether or not this was a red card.
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
So, because I know you brought that up in our group chat, and this is something that I kind of go back and forth on. So when you look at a red card for Dog, so you have to look at a number of different things. You look at directionality, you look at opportunity, you look, is he the last defender? And going back, and we'll pull it up here, clearly he's the last defender. Okay. I mean, we'll back it up even further. I'll show you. So the argument here against Dogso is that, yes, he's the last defender, but you have this other defender right here who could potentially make the play. Now, from this angle, I disagree, because this defender is behind the play. Now, is he relatively close? Yes. So my guess is the referee is making this decision, saying, okay, yes, Hurst is making the run. Yes, there's a foul here, but you again at the point of contact, he's so far behind the play. I don't think you can not call this dog so. I mean, he's going towards goal. Ball gets played back towards the center. Hursty's not out of control. So I don't know. For me, this is a dog so.
That's why I asked.
Yeah,
That's exactly why I asked. I mean, the way I always looked at it was, and you broke it down more than what I could have. The way I always looked at it was Hursty and whoever that was were the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if there's any kind of foul, some kind of card's coming out.
Yeah.
I want to say if it's more in the playing field, more in the pitch, it might be a red. Because I know last year they hit Yerzy with a red 8 minutes into the match because of a 1v1 last man back.
That ended up being what they ended up being in the incorrect call, if you remember correct. If you remember, that was the incorrect call against Yerzy last year.
So yeah, so I don't know. I still think this is dog so, but
yeah, I don't see how it's not. And you know, we've talked about on the show. I am a U.S. certified referee. You know, me looking at this, you know, from that perspective, and you know, I'm trying to look at this without any bias. You know, because we are United supporters, we are United media. Again, the only thing that I can think of is that he's thinking that this defender here is close enough to make the play. So he's looking at that. He's looking, maybe he's too far out from the center of the area. But again, you know, and I wish I could playback speed. Yeah, here we go. We'll run it back at half speed. You know, you look at so you watch again, you watch Hursty's directionality. So again, this defender actually pulls up, and you see Hurst making the run back toward the center of the box. So I don't know how you can't call this dog so, other than he thinks that Fuenmayor can make that play. But the thing is, from the directionality, the way that this play is being handled, if Hurst gets around Stenberg, he's got just the keeper. So, you know, me watching this, because I mean, he's not out of control. He's there. He's making the play. Hurst gets the touch on the ball. It's not like the ball's 10 yards ahead of him. So you can't even make that argument, because he had control. He had direction. You know, he hit last defender. This is dog so. I would love to see the PRO video. You know, I don't know if you've seen this, but PRO, the professional referee organization, they put out a video on YouTube every week, and they go over some of the more questionable calls. You know, they explain the decision making and whether they think it was right or wrong. I would love to see if this made that video. I don't know if this video is out yet or not. I'll look and see while we're talking. But to me, from my perspective, I'm that center. That's the only thing that I think is keeping him from making that a dog so, because Fuenmayor is relatively close. But I mean, go ahead.
I don't know. Like I said, I called it that night. My first reaction to that was, how is that not a penalty? How is that not a red?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. Like I said, from my vantage point, from my knowledge, I think that is a red. Let's see. 3 days ago, I'm curious. So there is a video up. Let me see. All right, so they've got the MLS review up from Saturday. I don't see anything? Okay, so it's just okay. It's just MLS apparently. But yeah, I don't see how this isn't, because they do sometimes go over USL matches on here. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know how this isn't a dog so, but I'm very curious. I can, so I am reffing this weekend. I can ask some of the other referees what they think, but I'll definitely keep an eye out on the pro YouTube channel. I'll link that here in the chat because they do sometimes put up reviews of that stuff. So, but I mean, we'll take it. We'll take the penalty. I mean, obviously, again, I think it's a red, but you know, United's fourth penalty of the year. We went 27 matches without a penalty being called. And now within the last 5 matches, we've had 3 penalty kicks. And, our kicks from the mark, I should say. And Justin Portillo does what Justin Portillo does. A little iffier than I would have liked to see, but off the inside, the right upright,
I think on that one he changed his mind at the last second. He was gonna go left like he always does, and then he saw that Rios Novo went left or went to the left.
You see him. Yeah, you see Rios Novo make the move. So yeah, I think you could be right there. But yeah, I mean, Justin gets his 4th goal of the year, 4th penalty conversion of the year. Glad to see, he's still on track there. But so United goes up 2-1, late in the match. You think it's done, and then I mean, you see the talent that Rising has here. They get the ball off the turnover there in midfield, and I mean, really, again, you see the compactness of the defense, but you see Formella left alone there in the box, and I mean, it really was good ball movement by Rising here to even get into that opportunity. But like it's a bit unfortunate, after such a good game by Andy and the defense. But a little 1-2 there back across the box. I want to say there was a bit of a dummy on that. Let's see if we go back and watch it. So yeah, the 1-2 back across. Yep, but yeah, dummy there by Trejo. Trejo, I'm surprised Trejo didn't take that ball. But and I think that's part of what pulled everyone off of kept everyone off Formella. But it is what it is. Phoenix is one of the teams that they're always dangerous. They've got 2 of the top 3 scorers in the league this year. I'd have to double check the stats on that, but.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was texting my brother. Yeah, we can speak all we want about this match, but the fact is United played the best match when it mattered the most.
Mm-hmm.
The defense was incredible. The offense was constantly there. And even at the dying minutes, I mean, right now, 95 minutes in, we're still pressing the attack and making sure we're trying to stop them. And then here's Juan Guerra's dumb face asking about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I felt like the 7 minutes was warranted, but this game then went on for almost another 3 minutes, another like 2.5, almost 3 minutes, which I think was ridiculous. And I mean, Brucey nearly got a third there. I mean, you love Brucey. Would have liked to have seen him get another one there, but yeah, it's I mean, yeah, a very, very good performance from New Mexico United. And like we mentioned earlier, this was without Nicky Hernandez. This is without Schneider Borgelin. And, this, and honestly, everything that we needed to go right went right over the weekend. You go back and you look at the results. Obviously, we pick up the win there, against Phoenix. You look at the other results around the league. Monterey Bay lost on Sunday night. Monterey lost on Sunday. El Paso lost on Saturday. Oakland lost on Saturday. So everything that we needed. RGV lost. I mean, everything went right. And now United is in the position to where you look ahead to Friday against Memphis in the and the finale of the season. Like United finally controls their own destiny here. And we thought of these last three matches, that Phoenix was going to be the best possible chance to pick up points. And now we're staring here with 2 wins in a row, chance to pick up a third and potentially finish 7th, when 2 weeks ago it looked like things just weren't going to happen for us.
Yeah, there was a lot of good things that went our way. Seeing El Paso crumble, and God, I pray to God Oakland puts them to bed next week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, an Oakland win, El Paso was out, unless of course we lose. But yeah, it's interesting. And you look at Memphis this week. They're coming in, they're still fighting for a home playoff match. So it's a very real chance that that we see Memphis's best 11 on Friday night, I should say, out of the lab for blackout night. Memphis, they just shut out El Paso last weekend 4-0. They have a 4-2 win over Tampa Bay Rowdies. They've got a 4-2 win over Hartford Athletic. This is a club that can score. They put a lot of goals past a lot of people here recently, and so there is reason for concern here. But given our form here in these last 2 matches, I mean, maybe we're revising our predictions for this week. I don't know. I mean, looking at Memphis, what is it, that has to go right for United on Saturday or Friday? I keep saying that. I'm so used to saying this Friday night match is so strange. What is it that has to go right for United against Memphis on Friday?
We have to mimic what we just did. We have to come out, attack the ball, whether it's on offense or defense, and score quick. That's exactly what we need. I prefer us not to score on penalty kicks. I prefer to be actual goals that Phoenix fans aren't going to cry about. But I mean, at the end of the day, I can give you the dummy answer. I'll give you the 2022 Earl answer.
Okay, what's that?
What do we have to do to come out with a win? Score more goals.
Yep, that is exactly what United has to do: score more goals than the opponent on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, Memphis is a team. Yeah, again, they're extremely talented. Philip Goodrum, Rodrigo da Costa. I mean, Sayadu. I mean, it's Emerson Heineman, who I played for Atlanta United last season. They've got some talented players over there, and they are an extremely dangerous side. Now, obviously, playing at the lab for United is it's kind of where we want to be. We want to be at home. We want to be in front of the faithful. I have a feeling we're going to see 12,000 on Friday night, which is a big ask, particularly with Balloon Fiesta in town. But I think this is one of those things where United could clinch, and a win is the easiest way in for that. But you look at the way we played, and I think there's a very real possibility that like you said, score more goals. We've got to control the pace. We've got to be aggressive, and that's you got to start with the midfield there. You got to start with the midfield. Nicky Hernandez coming back from the suspension. You look at how Astorga's been playing. You look at the job that Sergio Rivas did on Saturday night. You look at how Mondo played coming out of the midfield. I think there's a very real chance that we do pick up this third win in a row, given what we've seen lately.
Yeah, I mean, our form is crazy. I mean, we're so inconsistent that it's not even funny. Sorry, I was texting my brother again. But like I said, if we come out and we play the exact same game we did, um, it would be nice to see a Chris Wehan return. I don't know how likely that is. Um, but obviously we'll have Nikki back.
Mhm.
So Nikki playing against the Rodrigo da Costa midfield of Memphis. I mean, I'm okay with that matchup.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really interesting one. Da Costa and Nicky Hernandez going against each other. I think that'd be really, really interesting. I think Nicky's a bit better defensively than he is. I also think he's while he's not quite the goal scorer, I think Nicky's defensive ability and his ability to play in space and play at people is better than Da Costa. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch on Friday night.
But the good part about it is any yellow card accumulation after Friday night goes out the window because now it's a fresh. No,
It carries
I
over.
thought it. I didn't think it carried over.
Yeah, if you're suspended heading in the playoffs, it carries over.
Right, but like yellow card accumulation, does that?
Oh yeah, the accumulation itself stops. But if you say you pick up that accumulation there in the last week, it's going to carry over. So yeah, we certainly don't want that. But
yeah, I'm saying like if they're on like 3 and you need 5, then obviously you stop at 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean it's gonna be an interesting match. So if you don't already have tickets, please go get tickets. Get out there, blackout night, support New Mexico United. I will be there. Earl will be there, and
Rumor has it our baby faced friend Jacob would be there too.
Rumor has it that Jacob will be there as well. So I'm going to put this out there right now. If you're watching the show right now, if you are live with us right now, okay. And Earl, I haven't told you about this yet, but if you can find Earl between the 15th and the 25th minute of the match on Friday, Somos Mas will buy you a kit. So Earl, you're going to be down. If you can be down on the concourse somewhere between the 15th and 25th minute, if you're watching the show right now, if you find Earl, Somos Mas will buy you a kit. So there's a thing. Okay, so that way maybe we get a couple more seats in the stands. The premise of buying a kit. So here's you got to take a picture with Earl and tag us Facebook or Twitter. Okay, that's the deal. 15th.
Yeah,
and
I will.
Minute.
We will even have your. We'll even have the Facebook link ready to go. We'll even put it on our page.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah. So, if you find Earl between the 15th and 25th minute on Friday night, Somos Mas will buy you a kit. So that's our deal for Friday night at Blackout Night. But I mean, looking at this match, I mean, we talked about a couple of the key matchups. We talked about what United needs to do. Earl, what's your score prediction for Friday night?
I'm actually going into this one really confident. I'm thinking 2-0.
2-0. Interesting. Okay. I would love it to go with a clean sheet. I'm confident about this as well. I'm confident. I feel like we're playing well. Especially with the form we've had the last 2 weeks. This is something that we've been waiting all season to see. And finally now here at the close of the season, we're getting the form, we're getting goals, we're getting aggressiveness. It's really I wish it was early. I wish we saw this earlier this season. I wish we saw it more consistently throughout the season. Maybe we wouldn't be in this position. I would love to go into a final weekend already having a playoff position clinched. I would love to not be on pins and needles for the last quarter of the season.
Have we actually ever clinched before the end of the season?
No.
Or before the last match?
So I think 2 years ago we were like 5 points clear, but it came down like the last couple of weeks. or it might have come down to the last week, there at the end. So, but yeah, it wasn't comfortable. Like I think we finished 5th, but it wasn't comfortable. Like it came down like the last week or two, but again, I'm confident in the way that we're playing. I like what I've seen. I think having Nikki back is going to be tremendous for the midfield. I'm going to say 2-1 because just something's going to happen. We're going to give up something, and it's not a slight on Andy. It's not a slight, like with that rising goal. Just great ball movement at the end. They'll pick. I think Memphis picks up one somewhere, but I do think we win this game. I'm going to go 2-1 United over Memphis. We clinched the playoff spot without needing any help from anybody else. But while we're at it, we'll talk playoff scenarios. So I did the breakdown. Nicholas Murray has a much prettier version over on USLChampionship.com. So I will not show my handwriting. I will, however, show Nicholas Murray's breakdown over on USLChampionship.com.
It's because Seth doesn't know how to write. He can't spell.
That's probably accurate. But for New Mexico United, here, like we said, the clear and easy way, New Mexico United wins versus Memphis 901. Doesn't matter. We win, we're in. That would obviously make us clear of Oakland, Monterey, and RGV. Now there are other scenarios that are available to United for a path to the playoffs if we don't win. If we draw against Memphis, that puts us on 44 points. And El Paso loses to Oakland, they end on 44. The head-to-head tiebreaker is inapplicable because it's 1-1, even goal differential. Then we would take the tiebreaker on points per game in conference by 0.05 points per game. Okay? It's that tight. Or Oakland loses or draws with El Paso, and they end on 43 or 42 points. And Monterey Bay draws, loses versus Orange County. So starts to get a little bit trickier here. Okay. So again, it's either of these two scenarios. We draw and El Paso loses. Or we draw and Oakland draws or loses and Monterey draws and loses. Okay. Now, looking at these scenarios here, it is very realistic that Oakland beats El Paso. And it's also very realistic that El Paso draws or beats Oakland Roots because we don't know who's going to show up. And I mean, obviously, El Paso is the dumpster fire that they are after losing 4-0 to Memphis last week. And Monterey Bay, I mean, there's no telling what Monterey Bay shows up. Orange County, I would like to see Orange County win this one. I think Orange County does have the edge against Monterey Bay here. So I would be willing to bet Orange County picks up the win against Monterey. The other scenario here, United can get in with a loss. Now, this is obviously the least desirable path here. If we lose on Friday night, we need Oakland to lose, Monterey to lose, and RGV to lose. So, again, all three of those could potentially happen. But it's obviously the least desirable path. Again, United controls their own destiny. A win and we're in. So, I mean, this is essentially a playoff game for New Mexico United. I mean, if you want to go back and look at it realistically, the last 3 weeks, the last couple weeks have all been playoff games for us. But, I mean, this is it. We win this weekend, we have a chance to go win the cup. Now, where we end up and who we get in the first round of the playoffs, we don't know yet. It would either be Sacramento, San Antonio, Orange County, or San Diego. So it's up in the air. We finished 8th, we get Sacramento. We finished 7th. We don't know who we get yet. But we will know later this week. We will know. Actually, we won't know until Saturday night. Who we get? Go down and look at the schedule for this weekend. Yeah, because we're the only Western Conference team in play on Friday. So if we don't win Friday, there's going to be a lot of hand wringing, a lot of nerves on Saturday as we wait for these games to get underway. You got the later matchups here. You got a 4:00 kickoff for RGV. You've got the 6:00 kickoff for Monterey Bay. You've got the 6:00 kickoff for Oakland and El Paso. So a lot of hand wringing on Saturday if United does not win on Friday. So that's where we're at. And we'll obviously be back next week either way to break down the final regular season match, and hopefully with a playoff preview. Earl, do you have any closing thoughts on this week's show before we get out of here for the night?
No, I don't. I don't have any closing thoughts. United has me in some weird funk where you win some, you lose some. United likes to lose them more than they win them, and they like to win them when they matter, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. It's been amazing to see the turnaround and the level of play these past two matches. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens on Friday night. Again, Earl will be wandering the concourse between the 15th and 25th minute. If you find Earl, take a picture, put it on Facebook, tag us, put it on Twitter, tag us. If you find him, one lucky person will get a kit on behalf of Somos Mas. So that's it. Blackout night.
On that topic, excuse me. If more than one of you find me at the same time, we will need to come up with a plan. I don't think anyone finds me, which would be nice because I don't know where this kid's coming, which funding source this kid's coming out of. So
don't worry I got that taken care of. Don't worry about that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Funding has been secured for that, so don't worry about that.
Funding is secured. That's good to know.
Funding is secured. Yes, we have a kit. So
you hear that funding secured for something.
Yeah.
Don't you stress your pretty little head.
Yeah. Find out. We will buy it, or we'll buy it for you on the spot. That's what's going to happen. So. Like I said, funding is secured. Don't worry about that, Earl. Yeah, funding is secured. So.
Okay, I trust you.
All right. So yeah, there it is, folks. Friday night, blackout night at the Lab. If you don't have your tickets already, get your tickets and get out of there. It should be a really good match against Memphis 901 FC. Super talented club. You've heard our predictions this evening. We think United is going to go through and make it to the playoffs on their own volition without needing the help of anyone else. So Friday night at the Lab. We'll see you there. For Earl, for myself, for Jacob, for everyone in the chat tonight. Jane, thank you so much for being here. For Marlena, being in Earl's ear all night. For Melanie for chiming in. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. You can catch the podcast live later in the week.
So before you take off,
okay.
I do need to admit that I have a question.
Okay.
Has there ever been a team that's got 100 points
in USL?
No. No.
USL Championship? No. The record was actually, I believe, rising a couple years ago.
81.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
And that was a stellar team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you would have to go. 34 matches. Yeah, you would have to go undefeated to get 100 points, essentially.
So with that, now that the show is ending, I do want to point out that you, sir, did not find the 2 secret words of the week.
Okay. What were the secret words of the week?
The first one was 100. Because Maya loves me 100. And the other one was stellar, which I just used.
Okay. There you go. You threw those in there right at the end. So, yeah. I honestly, I wouldn't have thought anything about 100 because, it's it is a possibility, although, however, unlikely. So.
Yeah, when you have the producer in your ear, looking at you like, are you gonna say the word? And you realize you haven't. You're like, shit, I fucked up.
Yeah, there you go. So there are your words of the week, folks. 100 and stellar. So on behalf of everyone, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Again, podcast will be live on podcast feeds later this week. So go give that a listen, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, Somos Unidos.